So, brief disclaimer, I'm not trying to run a drama channel. This particular flash in the pan is just important to me. So, three things. Jason, aka Pirate Software, was never a game developer. Two, he wasn't a elite hacker, he was a glorified Janny. And three, no, Heartbound cannot run on a smart fridge. So, number one, I used to work at a mid-level game development studio as a game designer. And most people hear words like developer, designer, programmer, and think they all mean the same thing, which is very understandable, right? So let me explain the kind of roles and organization of an actual studio. I'll explain this in a way that Pirate Software can understand. Okay, so at the top of the studio are the game designers. These are the guys that create the game mechanics and their in-game. I'm not gonna do that the whole time. Don't worry. These are the guys that create the game mechanics and their in-game systems. They do all the writing for the game and they work out the fundamental math and technical framework that makes the features work. Then we have the developers. Okay, these guys are responsible for the implementation of additional features. They push completed work into the code base and update the game once the designers have finished a feature. Like the designers, they work on the core of the game and are considered one of the two programmer roles at the studio. The real main difference between designers and developers is that designers create mechanics, systems, and features from a Platonic mathematical perspective, and developers implement them in a practical Aristotelian way. Then we have the artists. Now, artists are sometimes delineated into 2D, 3D, character, and environment artists. But the real difference is, do they just draw concepts and pass them back to the designers? Or do they also do full modeling, rigging of characters in the engine? Some artists do both, but either way, they contribute in a similar manner. A strong art direction can really make or break a game. And there are two different styles, right? There's photorealism and there's stylization, and both have their place, right? These roles, these top three roles here, they actually work on the game. They are considered the developers. I'll even be super generous and say that artists could even be considered game developers, right? Now, quality assurance and game testers do not work on the game. They do not develop it. They perform both quality assurance and game testers perform similar functions of stress testing certain systems, right? They write a report on that and then hand it back to the design team. Where they differ is that quality assurance is usually full-time employees doing rigorous systemization, and testers are usually part-time, contracted, or outsourced labor. Now, that was a bit of a preamble, but it's important, so bear with me. Pirate Software was a junior quality assurance guy at Blizzard. He was never a designer, a developer, or an artist. He contributed nothing to the games. And by accounts from his boss, his direct supervisor, he was also bad at this. He was in name a quality assurance guy, but his work ethic was so bad they gave him tester work. He couldn't even be bothered to test the Diablo 3 levels that they had him on because he was too busy browsing fursuit Reddits. Now, this analysis comes from my own personal knowledge of the studios and organizations. This stuff about him only browsing free Reddit all day, that comes from an interview with his former manager, which I will link in the description. And once again, if you don't take my word for it, go watch these. That's where all the firsthand stuff comes from. But second point, right? Him being a glorified Janny. So sometimes during this period, sometimes after, sometimes at nuclear power plants on behalf of the feds, Jason was a penetration tester and senior red team specialist elite hacker. Now, once again, I've done some basic pen testing myself. Not hacking the nuclear codes or soloing the entire DEF CON convention 1v5 like it's a league match, but some very basic security and network testing as part of the design team. Now, similarly, this can be divided into two types of work: technical penetration and social engineering. Technical penetration is the real hacker stuff, where you're trying to breach firewalls, implant loggers, scrape sensitive data, and brick computers for ransomware plots. Social engineering, granted, can be a wide variety of things, all based around tricking living, breathing people into slipping up and providing you some kind of access or data that you don't have the clearance for. But 90% of the time in these roles, or really like 95% of the time, it's phishing emails and social media monitoring. If you've ever worked a corporate wage cage job, you know what these are. You get a fake email with links or questions or something trying to trick you into either giving something up or compromising your machine. These are sent by the company to prepare people for when the real ones come in, right? So you can spot the fake ones pretty easily from the company, and then the real ones, it's like staying ahead of the curve. And that's the true like counter intel aspect of it, right? And through enough of Jason's dialogue on stream, this is 100% of what he did as his job. He wrote emails. Literally, he wrote phishing emails all day. Or if he wasn't doing that all the time, the rest of the time he was monitoring employees' social media, scrolling through Facebook and other accounts to see if people were posting anything sensitive, which was probably his dream job considering his love of Reddit gold. He was a literal Janny, not a super secret government hacker. Now, that's a bit of hyperbole, right? To be fair, there's nothing wrong with quality assurance and low-level jobs, right? Some of my best friends work those jobs. I've worked those jobs in the past. I used to just stand outside our office building and try to get our employees to hold the door open for me, or use their key cards to get into the building. Or if there was like a line in the morning, I would get there at the front and just pretend to like fumble with my key card for like 6 minutes so the guy behind me would get irritated and just badge me in, right? I did this on and off for like months. There's no shame in it. But Pirate Software acts like he's the game dev genius, and he was basically the head of development for Diablo 3, WoW, and Overwatch at the same time. And he personally hacked the Pentagon to get the nuclear codes. It's just the absolute hubris of this guy all the time when he's straight up exaggerating or lying about his credentials. Before all the other stuff came out, I was a little suspicious of this guy. Then the interview with his manager, all the Second Life, EVE Online, WoW, and Ashes of Creation stuff. And now he's playing old school RuneScape, and I'm sure he's going to freak out and double down when he gets PK'd in the Wildy for the first time. And point 3, the fridge thing, right? This is a minor quibble, I know, but he's acting like it's real. So there's a video he keeps playing on stream where his game runs on a smart fridge. No, it doesn't. A lot of people have already said this, but just in case you haven't heard this. So in the video, the smart fridge is not running Heartbound. It's not running the executable file for Heartbound. Heartbound is being run externally on a different device and streamed and mirrored to the screen on the smart fridge. But that's it for my spurred out, okay? Like I said, not a drama channel. I do like niche history and government analysis content. But I made this video because the game industry has a lot of problems. Severe, fundamental problems that are making it worse and worse. And Pirate Software is contributing to those issues. He's the exact kind of person that makes it so hard for young, competent dudes to get hired in any kind of entry-level jobs. It's something I care very deeply about. So I just had to say a little something about it. Okay, spurgery over.